got a speaker for you today, and I want y'all to pay attention. And before we go on to our meeting, Dave Sarkus is going to speak to us. Dave played with me at West Virginia University. Dave was nose guard at West Virginia back in the old 50s, when everything was 50 defense with nose guard. Played with me there. Like a lot of you and a lot of us thought football and playing football was going to be his life. And his way of fulfilling his life and his purpose in life, just like a lot of you, that's what you think. You never know which way the Lord leads you. Going on now, to be a motivational speaker around the country and around the world. Speaks probably as a sports figure, speaks around the country as much as anybody in the country. He does a lot of speaking to groups like us, and I want him to come and speak to you because he speaks on leadership and building a champion and being a winner. You hear my garbage so much every day, you get tired of hearing me talk. So you guys give your attention. Sit up and give a lot of attention. And Dave, why don't you come up here and give a message?
8-5 last year. You can do better. There's more there. I see it already. Can I hear you say, I see it?
I see it.
12 years ago when I flew down to Tallahassee, Florida, I was so honored to be with Terry's dad in the midst of winning national championships at Florida State University with your own coach, Chuck Amato. Bobby Bowden was so gracious to us, and he shared his thoughts on leadership and serving each other. I was trembling, Terry. Coach Bowden spoke about love. I was so surprised. He said, all things being equal, the team that loves each other the most will win. Super Bowl 49, New England and Seattle. Minute left to go in the game. There's an unknown cornerback in the game for New England, number 21. Number 21. He's on Jermaine Kearse. Kearse runs a 30-yard out. He tips the ball. Kearse is on his back. What happens? He catches, takes it down to the 5. Takes it down to the 5. 2 plays later. 20 seconds to go. Number 21 from New England still in the game. Guess what? He's already seen this play. He's seen this formation. Wilson drops back. 21 jumps the route. Game over. Seals the victory. 28-24. New England. That play doesn't happen if 21 doesn't do his homework, if he doesn't get his mental reps, if he doesn't simply do his job, as the Patriots say. Story within the story. 2009. Malcolm Butler is at Hines Community College. Hines Community College. He's working his butt off. 5 games into the season, he gets kicked out of school. He's working at Popeyes. Can I hear you say Popeyes? I mean, nothing wrong with Popeyes, but you need to own some Popeyes when you leave here, right? He's working at Popeyes. Finds his way back into school. You know why? Because Malcolm Butler had something. He had a vision. He had this, he had heart. Malcolm Butler had a vision. 3 years later, he's at West Alabama. West Alabama. He's an All-America there. Small college All-America. Scout up in New England saw something down there. Saw something down at West Alabama. He didn't have the measurables, but Malcolm Butler had a vision. Malcolm Butler had a vision for himself to be his best. His vision came true. After that interception in the Super Bowl, you know what? Malcolm Butler said, I had a vision that play was going to happen. He said, I already saw it. I already saw that play. 30 miles south of my home lies a battlefield by the name of Fort Necessity. Coach Bowden's likely been there before. I know he knows the history behind Fort Necessity. Our first president, George Washington, fought in his very first battle there as a 22-year-old. He learned many lessons. He was forced into battle as a general. He made many mistakes. It was a bloody battle. Lives were lost. Lives were slaughtered. Now, as a mature general, some 20 years later, he's contemplating the most difficult decision of his military career. His decision now, as a mature general, in 1776 is to cross the Delaware River on Christmas night through the day with a ragtag army of teenagers from Pennsylvania and Maryland and adjoining colonies. Some are beginning to understand what Washington might want to do, and they began to desert him. Washington himself thought he was losing his mind, but he stood upon his convictions. You need to stand upon your convictions and have audacity to run the table. George Washington had the audacity to believe that he could beat the best trained and best equipped army in the world, the Hessian army. He had audacity. Christmas night came. You've seen the renderings, you've seen the pictures. One by one, Washington and his troops crossed the Delaware River, an icy Delaware River. They all got to the other side. Shortly before daybreak, Washington's army attacked. Within 90 minutes, the battle was over. It was over. Washington was alone with his most trusted friend and ally, Hugh Mercer, and he asked Mercer a series of questions. Important questions that you need to listen to. He first asked, "You, what just happened? What just occurred?" Mercer said, "Sir, we have thousands of pounds of ammunition and clothing and food that will take us through." Washington said, "No, that's not what I mean." In his stilted British, Washington said, "How are my lads? How many did I lose?" Mercer smiled ever so slightly and said, "None, sir." Washington bowed his head because he knew it was providential. He fought back the tears. He looked up to ask another question. "Well, how many are injured, you, Mercer?" Mercer said, "None, sir." As you can imagine, Washington again had to fight back the tears. And he asked the most important question that some of you already know the answer to. George Washington asked, "Why? Why would these beautiful young lads follow me, you, Mercer?" Mercer responded with little hesitation. He said, "They trust you, sir, and I believe they love you." They trust you, sir, and I believe they love you. It's trust in each other, your commitment, your degree of love. It's trust in each other to do the right thing, to go the extra mile and a half, to do more with less, to do your very best each and every day in the classroom, in the weight room, in the film room, on the playing field. It's trust and love that will make this Akron Zip team a legacy here, back-to-back bowl games and more. In the busyness of our days, our senses become dull. We need signs and symbols to lift us up above the clouds and clutter. I always bring my father's hat with me from West Virginia University. My father loved West Virginia University and the fact that I got to play there. For me, this hat symbolizes great courage and teamwork and love. Being your best. Giving yourself for the other person. So as I close here today, I know you're going to have a great season. But I pose a question to you. An important question. And I ask you, where's your hat? Where's your heart? And how will you lead and love each other this season? Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
You know, I don't think I've ever had a man come in and talk to my football team and make the impact on those players that Dave Sarkus did today. He had those guys riveted in their chairs. You know, we're tough guys. That's what football players are. But we talked about love and about loving each other and about we were going to great. If we were going to be great, we had to make ourselves small and our teammates big. What a special message that Dave Sarkus had for our players. A message of inspiration, perspiration, and just a wonderful message from a great man.